I made a solo leveling game where you play as Sang Jinwoo, fighting hordes of enemies, clearing dungeons, jumping from roof to roof, searching portals, erase enemies and building up a big fat shadow army. And I did all of this in only 3 days. And you guys seem to like it. Some of you even find it cooler than the official game solo leveling Arise. And a lot of you requested me to continue working on the game and turn it into a fully fledged game if you can. So I locked myself away for 1 month with one mission: cooking. I went completely crazy with this project. First, I tried adding new stuff, new abilities for Jinwoo, better hit feedback for enemies, health bars, but yeah, I immediately ran into huge problems. Yeah, wall glitch. Killing my own shadow. Spaghetti health bars. Yeah, oh my god. In short, the game was completely broken, and the root of all these problems was bad code. Yeah, I mean everything was made in just 3 days, guys, so yeah, what did you expect? It's completely broken. For the enemies, I had one single script that did everything. In nerd language, you call that a monolith or god script. So I wrote a big fat monolith. It was even bigger than your mom. This one script was responsible for walking, attacking, health, animations, dying, coming back to life as a shadow, visual effects, target search. And that's just the beginning, my friends. This script has more tasks than Jinwoo has fangirls. So I pulled down the blinds, put on my work gloves, slid on some coding beats and reworked my entire codebase so I can enjoy working on the project in the long run. Splitting every function into its own script, that's single responsibility pattern. Encapsulating actions as objects, comment pattern. Organizing behavior into states, state machine pattern. Drinking coffee all day long, that's not a pattern, that's an addiction. Writing reusable asset-based configurations, scriptable object-based architecture. Hell yeah. This took me 2 fucking weeks. But now we have a state-of-the-art architecture and adding new stuff is incredibly easy now. Adding a dash like in Hades? Pff, that's not a challenge, that's a mouse click. I added a simple mesh trail to my character by taking snapshots of the mesh. I rotated it, positioned it, made the shadows fade out after a bit, wrote a shader, tweaked the settings and replaced the jump with a dash animation. Boom, dash, 1 mouse click. And to top it off, I implemented animation cancelling, so you can break out of your ability animations by dashing. If you time it right, the attack will still hit, but you won't be stuck waiting for the animation to end before you can move. This makes the gameplay feel super smooth, fast-paced and skill-based. Next, I reworked my sword wave attack from my first video cause it looked So my plan was to make the sword wave chargeable, so I added a loading animation, then I added a charging effect and a new sword wave effect. I polished it by adding a camera shake that ramps up the longer you charge. I experimented with different settings like multiple sword waves, slicing, stopping at enemies, flying through enemies, adding more enemies, yeah. So there are many ways you can upgrade this skill, which is kinda cool since this game is supposed to be a roguelike after all. And this is our first ranged combat skill. Next I learned the backflip in real life, that's me. Hell yeah. And added it to Jinwoo to make sure Jinwoo is on the same level as me. Next I tried to implement the shadow stab ability that some of you suggested in the comments. Thanks Mr. Snowcast42. So you can throw a knife and teleport to it. If you don't use the teleport, the knife will return after 3 seconds. And yeah, yeah, it's not finished yet because I got distracted by the anime. Yeah, I couldn't resist watching the whole anime again. Yes, for the 3rd time. And I got inspired by tons of cool stuff for the game. Here's my list. Cool way to check your rank. Make Jinwoo look cool as fuck. Jinwoo is mineworker. Is looking hot. Wake up enemies. Statue of God boss fight. And here we go. The roadmap for the next 5 minutes. So let's go. I added a new building. Yeah, more like an empty room, and added a magic orb in the middle. And oh yeah, I turned Jinwoo into Blackwoo. But who cares? And this is our stage where we can check our ranks. I added a dramatic getting up animation, which is inspired by me. This is literally how I wake up every morning. And if you stretch out your hand, the system starts calculating your rank based on nothing. Luck, yeah. Right now it simply generates a random number between 0 and 1000. So it's basically like these boxing machines, and they are rigged, my friends. They are rigged. But in the future, the rank system will take your stats, weapons and upgrades into account for some serious classification. Next, making Jinwoo look cool as fuck. You know those moments in anime where the main character is almost almost beaten, but then they make a huge comeback, push beyond their limits and strike back with new power, epic comebacks, aura moments, rage power-ups. You all know this from your favorite animes. And I wanted to bring it to Jinwoo, so I bought some fancy character effects, burning flames, misty wind, but I can't get them to work on Jinwoo. For some reason, they are only designed for this specific model. So my main research question was, how the fuck do I get this shit up and running? What if I just add a model, Ellen, her name is Ellen, as a child object to Jinwoo, scale it to Jinwoo's size, give Ellen the same animations as Jinwoo, and then just put the object that renders the mesh on a layer that isn't rendered by the camera. Holy shit, this sounds like a solid plan. And it works. This looks absolutely cursed, but who cares? Because it works, so yeah. Don't be surprised if Ellen's face clips through sometimes. You know what's going on. And here are the epic comebacks, the aura moments, the rage power-ups.
This is nothing! I'm not done yet! Compared to that thing! Compared to the terror I felt that day! Incredible! This is nothing! Power I have! I know I can kill you right here and now!
I also added a sick weapon draw animation and timed it with a materialize effect for the daggers, inspired by that scene from the anime where Jinwoo materializes his daggers in a fight. But that's not all. To really make the daggers pop, I added particle effects cause I wanted that bling bling, you know? So when you find or upgrade powerful weapons, they get these cool looking particles. Speaking about loot, dropping items, weapons, I added a special weapon to the game, a pickaxe. Okay, yeah, it's more like a giant hammer, but it's supposed to be a pickaxe. Next, I found these glowing crystals, mana crystals to be exact. I dragged them into the scene, gave them a health bar, added some particle effects for when you hit the crystal, added camera shake, and when the mana crystal is destroyed, it scatters and dematerializes. In the end, only the loot is left over, like new equipment, resources, EXP, yeah, but that's still a work in progress. Jinwoo is mine worker? Check. Now, we can mine mana crystals after beating dungeons, which is super sick and a nice addition to the fighting. Next, I focused on the Arise ability, waking up enemies. I know this was already possible in the 3-day version, but trust me, there was a lot to improve. First, I put the same curse trick I did with Jinwoo. I added Ellen as a child object to Egress, so I can equip my allies with some badass shadow particles. I also swapped out the Arise effects, and this is what it looks like now. And if there are no enemies, I made it so they all follow you like dogs. So the shadow soldiers are actually dogs. Yeah. The idea is that you can now spawn your shadow army, which you've set up in the menu, once per run. During the run itself, you have to try to arise as many defeated enemies as possible. And here I have 3 possible scenarios I want to show you. Waking up enemies by chance. Here you get 3 chances to resurrect an enemy, just like in the anime, where Jinwoo needs 3 tries to wake up Egress. The chance is shown on a progress bar, with an arrow as an indicator that you have to beat. The whole thing is based on luck. Every enemy has a certain probability. Egress, for example, has a 30% success rate per try, which over 3 attempts gives a total chance of... yeah, who cares? You get the point. And if you fail all 3 times, well... Next, wake up enemies by clicking. The next option would be that you have to click X times within a 4-second window, for example 40 times. It looks something like this. And yeah, it gets exhausting, but it's also kind of funny. The timer is displayed here, along with the progress bar showing how much you still have to click. I'm telling you, this creates some serious pressure. Wake up enemies by speech recognition. The last option is that you need your microphone and you have to beg the enemy to wake up. Something like this. Bro, I promise you, wake up bitch, or I send you to jail. This will be transcribed and passed to OpenAI, to a large language model, which then decides if the enemy should wake up. Oh yeah, and comment down below which method you like the best. Lastly, here's a teaser for my next video, turning the statue of God into an epic boss battle for the game. Thanks to 1000 subs, thanks for all your comments on my first video. I'll leave a link in case you haven't seen it yet. I appreciate your support guys, see you in the next video. It's boss battle time.